All right, for my next appointment, I had to go to Swiss Tech in Hall G, which is where Eureka Park is and all the crazy stuff going on. Now, what I'm going to show you right now isn't a product yet. Matter of fact, it really is established technology. It's established innovation. It just isn't something that you can go out and do yet. So we're talking about what they want to do with it, not what is doing with it. So the company is called Nutrix. Now Nutrix they have two products. One of them is a software package called G-Sense, which is really sort of one of those lifestyle software things where you give it information about you and it gives you recommendations about what to do with your life. But the real trick to it is they've got this piece of hardware coming out and it's called Sense. Now this is really two pieces. This is hardware, and on top of it, this little thing right over here, this is a disposable saliva sensor. So basically you'd spit in this, you put in your mouth for a few seconds, then in 3 to 5 minutes it will actually send to your phone your cortisol levels. Now cortisol, you may have heard, it's the stress thing, right? If your cortisol is too high, you're probably stressed. If your cortisol is too low, you probably have like fatigue issues. Now everyone's are going to rise and fall throughout the day, and so you can't just use a cortisol number to say this is what's wrong with you. You've got to say, what are my baselines, what are my rhythms? So if you were to in theory, when they go live with it, it'll be a subscription. So around $400 a year, what you would do is you'd first establish a baseline. So for the first several days, you would do lots of data points. And then once those data points were collected, then like once a month, you would go through and you would check your cortisol levels. And then once you know your cortisol levels, then you can start going, it's not about collecting the data, it's what do you do with the data? And that's where their G-Sense program comes into play in terms of, again, those lifestyle things that you can change about your life. But more importantly, by understanding what your levels are, you can then respond to those levels. Right now, you don't know what those levels are, and more importantly, without having multiple data points, you don't know what those levels mean. So this is all the beginning of it. What's the innovation here is that literally, this is a disposable saliva sensor, and you can test cortisol in the palm of your hand in 3 to 5 minutes. So this will be a game changer, but there's still a lot of unknowns with it. And the idea is, once you are able to get this data on a regular basis, what are the interventions that you can do with it? But again, that's a stepwise process, because as we've seen with a lot of these technologies, once you start collecting the data, all of a sudden interventions change and people get more and more ideas about it. So hope they do well. It's called Nutrix. I'm here at Swiss Tech in Eureka Park.